Hey everybody, it's Scott. Welcome back to the One-Off Shop. As promised, today we're going to be making some fudge. It's my mom's recipe. It's a double-decker peanut butter fudge. You'll notice I just called it double D Fudge. I wasn't up for typing all that out. Anyway, first thing you're going to want to do before you start this recipe is get you a 9x13 pan. Go ahead and line it with foil. Alright? You don't want to spray it or anything, just line it with foil. Make sure it's good and flat against the sides and the bottom and pressed into the corners as well as possible. Go ahead and set that off to the side. Alright, next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to have two bowls because this is made up in two different batches. So your first bowl, you're going to want to add a 1/4 cup of melted butter. Now make sure it's still good and warm when you do this. Otherwise your next ingredients aren't going to mix too well. Alright, the next thing we're going to put in is a 1/2 cup of just regular old Hershey's cocoa. That's where our chocolate layer is going to come from. Get that in there. Half a cup. Alright, next thing we're going to add is a teaspoon of vanilla. I get this good Mexican vanilla. Good stuff. Tastes a lot better than that plain old extract. This is real stuff here. Alright, we got that in. Now what you want to do is go ahead and get that mixed up good. Okay, go ahead and use your whisk and get that stirred up good. And you want to keep going until it gets good and creamy. And try not to slop your cocoa powder out of your bowl. Alright, now this is going to be very, very dry and sticky, but you want it all mixed together. You don't want any of your dry cocoa powder left in there. And just go ahead and, it's going to be caught up in your whisk. Just leave it there. Trust me, it's going to come out later on. Alright, so once you've got that done, you've got all that mixed, just go ahead and set that off to the side there. Next thing we're going to want to do is we want a bag of peanut butter chips. You can use generic, whatever. Of course, I like the good stuff. And you want to put 1 cup of peanut butter chips into each bowl. That should be your entire bag. Let's do 1 in this first bowl. And we'll add 1 to our chocolate mixture. Right on the money, 2 cups. Alright. Now that our bowls are prepped, this is where we're going to be actually making the fudge at and mixing up our 2 layers. Now what you're going to want to do now is go ahead and move to the stove. And let's get ready and start making our actual fudge mixture. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to get you a big pan. And this needs to be like a 6-quart or an 8-quart pan. I'm using a Dutch oven because it's good and big. So in that you want to go ahead and add your sugar. And you want to add 1 can of canned milk. Don't forget to shake it up. Go ahead and pour that in. Once you get your milk in there, you probably want to go ahead and stir it around some, start getting that sugar to dissolve. Because the next thing we're going to add is a 1/4 cup of softened butter. Just go ahead and get that in there. Make sure it's good and soft or you're not going to like trying to mix it if it's not soft. It'll take forever to melt. Alright, so you can go ahead and push that down into your butter a little bit and start getting it mixed up. Alright, next thing we're going to add is a jar of marshmallow cream. I don't know about you guys, but for a while there, around the holidays, this stuff was like gold. You couldn't find it anywhere. So when I finally did find it, I bought 4 jars. Alright, so let's go ahead and empty our marshmallow cream. the entire jar right into the pan. Trust me, you're going to want to use a rubber spatula to get this stuff out because it's so sticky. And that's the only way you're going to get it scraped out of there. Just try not to slop your mixture. That's pretty close. All right. Go ahead and throw that out. All right. Now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and get this on the stove, and you want to bring it to a good rolling boil. Once you get it to a rolling boil, you want to go ahead and keep it there for about 5 minutes. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get this on the stove, and when we're just about to boil it, we'll be back. All right. You're going to think that this isn't going to mix, but trust me, once the heat gets to it, the marshmallow is going to melt, and it's going to get in there, and it's going to make everything really smooth and creamy. So the firmness is going to come from the sugar, and then the creaminess is going to come from the marshmallow. The sugar is the stabilized form of the fudge, and then the marshmallow adds all the creaminess. So this is going to be great. So I'm just going to keep on stirring here. You're going to want to stir this constantly, because anytime you cook sugar, you always want to keep on stirring it, because you do not want it to stick. You'll ruin a pan, and you'll ruin your sugar, because as soon as something sticks and burns, it ruins the whole pot. So just keep on stirring until everything comes together and comes to a boil. Alright, once you got to get to a good rolling boil like this, keep on stirring. You want to make sure that you're covering the entire bottom of that pan when you stir. That's why I suggest using a rubber spatula or a silicone spatula to do it with, because you don't want to miss any parts of the bottom of this pan, because anything sticks and burns, it's going to ruin it. Alright, after the end of your 5 minutes, go ahead and take your mixture from the stove, and you're just going to have to guesstimate and pour about half into each bowl with your chips. It's going to be a guesstimate. Be very, very careful of the molten sugar. Alright. Good enough. Set that in the sink there. Alright. Now you're going to want to take the one that's got the chocolate in it. Remember I told you that chocolate's going to come out of that whisk? Well, this mixture here is boiling. Go ahead and start stirring. And it's going to melt those peanut butter chips and get all that chocolate mixed in and the rest of that butter. It's going to be a little bit of a workout, but you'll get there. Just keep stirring until everything is good and homogeneous. Tap your whisk every now and then. Try to knock some of that stuff out of the middle. It will melt, trust me. It's just going to take a few minutes. So you're going to stir on this one for a while. Once you've got it good and homogeneous, go ahead and get you another whisk and do up your peanut butter side. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with them. Alright, after about 2-3 minutes, you're going to be pretty close to homogeneous. Just keep going until it looks real smooth and you don't see any chunks in it. You're going to see it's kind of glossy. If it starts to lose that gloss, you want to immediately get it into your pan, because that means it's starting to set. So as long as it's glossy while you're stirring it, you're all right. All right, that looks pretty good. So what we'll do is we'll take our 9x13 here that we've got lined with foil. Let's go ahead and dump in our first batch, which is our chocolate side. Let's go ahead and get that dumped in. You scrape everything down real good. Kind of hard with a whisk, but we'll get there. All right. Not bad, not bad. All right. So let's go ahead and get out a silicone spreader, and let's go ahead and spread this evenly down the bottom of our pan. Just keep spreading. Make sure you get it up good into the corners. And once you've got the entire bottom covered, go over it and smooth everything out. And try to get it as even as you can across there. And what you can do is go ahead, once you've got it fairly even, give it a couple taps. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and take this one and stick it in the fridge. We need the top portion of this to go ahead and start to set up. All right, while your chocolate layer is in the fridge, go ahead and take the rest of your mix here that's with the plain peanut butter chips and go ahead and start mixing those up. Those peanut butter chips ought to be pretty good close to melted by now. Just keep stirring once again until everything looks homogeneous and you don't see any lumps. Keep watching for that gloss. Like I said, if it starts losing that gloss, you want to go ahead and get it into your pan. So what we've done here is we've cooked our sugar and our marshmallow cream and butter up to what's called the softball stage. That's 234 degrees Fahrenheit to 240 Fahrenheit, or 112 Celsius to 115 Celsius. And what that does is that allows the sugar to crystallize, pardon me, but not set into a hard form. It still breaks apart easily. That's why it's softball. Then you get the hard ball, and you'll have be a stiffer fudge. Won't break as easy. It'll be more crumbly. Then you get into the crack stages, soft crack and hard crack, and that's what you do for your hard candies. All right, once you've got this mixed up pretty good, and it looks good and homogeneous, go ahead and let that sit for about 2 minutes, and we'll go ahead and add this to our other layer. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take our peanut butter layer and dump it right on top of the chocolate. Do it really easy, really slow. Try not to dump it out too fast. We don't want to disturb that chocolate layer underneath. And just keep on doing that. Run your whisk back and forth and get as much as you can out of there. All right. Got that done. Get another spreader here, and very, very gently scoop your peanut butter into the corners and make sure it's touching all the sides and it's got everything covered. All right, once you do that, go ahead and get this in the fridge. I'd say for at least 2 hours, so it can set up real good. Once we get mine set up, we'll be back and I'll show you how to get this stuff cut. All right, I got my fudge all set up here. It's nice and solid. So what we're going to do to cut it, get you a piece of parchment paper. Go ahead and lay it over top of your 9x13. Hold on to your foil. You might want to push down in with your fingers just a little bit to make sure it doesn't fall. flip it over and just let it come to rest on your parchment. Fold back your foil, lift off your pan. Now you're going to want to pull this foil off slowly, just in case any wrinkles in the foil are stuck in the fudge. So make sure that you're opening the foil up before you try to pull it off. And there we go. All right. See if I can go ahead and hold this up for you. Now you can see we got two distinct layers there. Doesn't look that great on the edges, but let's go ahead and cut it. So what I've done is I've got a long serrated knife. Get the longest serrated knife you got, and you just want to line it up. Start on one side and bring it down slowly, almost like one of those old-fashioned paper cutters, and then just push straight down. Give the knife a little twist and you'll break off a line just like that. Just keep on repeating that till you get everything cut. Alright, let's cut off a little piece here and we can test it and see how it is. Alright, so there's our 2 layers of fudge. And as you can see, it's soft, so it'll bend a little bit before it opens up. Nice and creamy. Tastes like home. Tastes like being at home with Mom. Anyway, that's it for today. Make sure you store this in an airtight container, and I would probably refrigerate it. It'll keep for about a week or so. On Saturday, we're going to be taking a trip across the pond. We're going to be going to Germany, and we're going to be making some schnitzel. So tune in for that. And until then, keep rifling through the cabinets, keep rummaging through the fridge, and turn those what ifs into a one-off.